So thank you very, very much for joining me for the info session for Purpose in Motion. This is a very exciting and honestly extremely vulnerable moment. I've been dreaming of this for a very long time, and I'm really excited to share it with you. What I would like to do is share a little bit about the program. And then go over the logistics of the program. I'll kind of show you the website that was created in case you have looked at it. There's a lot of information. And if you're anything like me, like I don't want to read, I want you to tell me. So I'll go through all the information with you. And then at the end, we can open it up to some conversation. So I wanted to kind of propose, and this is just for you to think about for a moment. So here's where I want to kick us off. Have you ever shared something that you're really passionate about with somebody and you did not receive the reaction that you were expecting? It could have been something they said or didn't say, um, a facial expression, something that they did or didn't do. But all of a sudden, because of that, the self-doubts start flooding in and the second guessing and questioning, like, is this ridiculous? Should I be putting my attention on this? Is this not worth my time? Or the answer is no. What lights you up and what makes you passionate is not by accident. And so instead, there's an opportunity to think to yourself, oh, what I shared is an opportunity to be a contribution, to be of service to others. There's a gap. What I shared and how it's being received maybe is misunderstood, or maybe the person that was receiving it isn't quite understanding it in a way that they could benefit from it. So the idea is that the world runs on innovation. And innovation is born out of necessity. And for purposes of this conversation, necessity is to make something more accessible, to make something available, to make something known that before was not known to people or benefit in a way that people didn't realize it could benefit. Things are born out of necessity as an innovation through our gifts. So when you share something that you're really passionate about, it's not by accident. It's tapping into a gift, something much, much bigger than ourselves and our own physicality. And the work of this program, this is exactly why Purpose in Motion was created. The work of this program is to pause and to identify those gifts and to realize that when you share something that you're passionate about and you're not met with the same passion, that's the opportunity to be a contribution. It's not a time to walk away and give up and say, oh, I must put my attention on something that doesn't light me up. The idea is that we are all putting our attention on the things that light us up to be a greater contribution. But doing so isn't easy. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of societal impressions that get pressed upon us. So this program, Purpose in Motion, was created for that purpose. And we utilize two tools. We utilize movement and we utilize yoga philosophy. And the way that we're experiencing movement in this program is in a very unique way because nobody can see it. It's called embodied motion, and it's something that I developed. It's an internal practice. You can very much feel it. Let me tell you, it's very physical. But what the idea is, no matter if you're practicing yoga, you can, let me pause. Embodied motion is a principle-based methodology, we can call it. So there are tools and techniques that you know that you are incorporating in the way that you're moving, whether it is a yoga class, a fitness class, or just activities of daily living. And it's to help you integrate and feel something. Will it help make you stronger? Absolutely. Will it help you achieve the physical goals that you want to? Absolutely. But it allows you to go much deeper. And this movement practice is to align you with your internal landscape. We have five senses, and our senses act as tentacles. We see, we hear, we smell, we taste, and we feel. And this is how we communicate with our external world. And all day long, whether we are aware or unaware, we are giving and receiving communication. And this external world communication, for example, like I see the blue skies out there. I like that. I see the wind blowing because the trees are moving. I don't like that. But it's all because I've seen it or I've heard it. Simply, the truth is the sky is blue and there's wind because the trees are moving. However, I pulled that information in through my senses and I had a thought about it, which then created an emotion and gets stored as an energy in our body. And I can be aware of it or I can be unaware of it. So embodied motion is a movement methodology that aligns you with your internal landscape. It takes a willingness to look and a courage to feel because it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But you start to develop the ability to work with the quality of your thoughts, your emotional well-being, and your energetic qualities. These aren't things that happen to you, they are what you are in creation of. Your true reality is your internal landscape, the thoughts, the emotions, and the energy. And through embodied motion, it's an intentional movement practice or principles that you infuse into your movement practice. So every time you move, you are realigning to your truth. You are able to overcome distractions or obstacles, those perceptions, right, of the second guessing and the self doubt and the questioning of yourself. And it helps you create clarity and discernment and a confidence, not just like a physical strength discernment type confidence, but this internal, unstoppable, makes your passion explode type of confidence. So it doesn't matter what type of reaction you receive from anybody, you're on your path, you know the path that you're going on, you know it's for good reason, and you are living the life that you deserve to live. That's really what this is all about. So during Purpose in Motion, we spend a lot of time learning this, I'll call it a movement methodology. But at the same time, you're going to work with a private innovation project. Now, this innovation project is private. Nobody ever needs to know that you're working on it. It's that passion that's inside you. It's time to bring it out. It's the whole idea that the world runs on innovations and you are an innovator. And so discovering your gifts and then building that confidence and those skills to work with your gifts to contribute to the greater good, doing what you love. I hope that's clear. I've said that a couple times. So, in working with this innovation project, this is where yoga philosophy comes in so that we can assure that it is aligned with right action. We are going to be working with a specific tool, and it's called the Kleshas. There's a book, and I don't have it with me. I have two of the books that we'll be working with. I'll talk about them in a moment. Um, Deborah Adele is an author, and she wrote a book called The Kleshas, and it is one of my absolute favorite. It's digestible, it's relatable, and it really helps us understand the Kleshas are the five hindrances. Thousands of years ago, the ancient yogis discerned that there are five forms of suffering. And so we're going to be working with these forms of suffering to create a relationship with them, to turn them into the moments and the opportunities where we can learn the lesson we were supposed to learn. We develop a skill or a tool that unlocked what was next for us. So if you think back to your life and all the experiences you had, and if you think of your experiences as a yellow brick road, each brick, right, the winding yellow brick road, each brick is an experience that you had. And the internal landscape will assign it a memory with a thought and an emotion. And so sometimes that can form suffering. It can come in the form of like one of the kleshas is clinging. So I can think back to this experience that I had and I'm clinging to it because it was the best moment of my life ever. Well, I'm suffering now because I want to go back to that point. I'm not seeing all of the best moments that are here right in front of me in this very moment. So we learn to create a relationship with our suffering to see, like, oh, why was that moment the best moment of my life? And how can I carry forth the aspects of it into my present day right now so I live in that arena versus thinking I can't have it anymore and it causing me suffering. And so every experience that you have had in the past has led you to where you're supposed to be. It has provided you a lesson, a skill, or a tool to help move you in the direction of your passion, of your purpose. But a lot of times the distractions of life will make us second guess or not be witness to the lesson, skill, or tool that we received. So a lot of the work of the innovation project that we do is going to be spending time discerning, looking back, not being afraid. Be like, "Oh, I am supposed to be doing this. Look at all of that evidence from my past, giving me all of the skills and all of the experience to literally come forth and do this." Now, this innovation project can be for you. It doesn't have to be for anybody else. We're not going to get caught up in grandiosity or undervaluing. It could be something, I'm going to give you some ideas. It could be that you write an ebook with your favorite recipes and you share it with your friends and family because it just brings you joy. It could be that you decide that you are going to plan out a gorgeous garden and towards the end of the season, you're going to have a garden party to share with your friends and family. It could be you want to write a book. You want to start a business. You want to lead a workshop. You want to lead a meeting in your workspace to try to change the culture and start to create something brand new. Literally, there are endless possibilities, but we're going to do the work to back up, to dig within, and to bring forth that passion that may have accidentally been squashed down from the reactions that we received from the external environment through our five senses. Because at the end of the day, those are all perceptions. They were not truth. So that is the overarching umbrella of what purpose and motion is. I'm going to share my screen and I want to go through just the practicality of it and kind of what you can expect. So here is the website that we have. And then I can share this website with you. It's right on our webpage. So if you go to what we offer, trainings and programs, Purpose and Motion will pop up. There's a ton of information. So I'm going to scroll down and it will give you a lot more of kind of like who it's for, what it is, what you'll explore. There's a lot to it, but this is where I wanted to bring us. We begin in August 3rd through 6th. It's a Monday through a Thursday, and it is an in-person immersive retreat at Gather Green, which is a property in the Hudson Valley of New York in Coxsackie. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to bring you back up on the website in a moment just to show you more details of the property. But here is where we're going to dive into the bulk of the work. From sunrise to sunset, we will be going through the embodied motion methodology and starting that process of really identifying your gifts and leaning into what in yoga we call dharma, your purpose. It is for you, not for anybody else. But when you allow it to come forth and share it with others, it brings you peace. It brings you fulfillment and it brings you joy. And that's the life that you deserve to live. So after these 4 days together, we're going to lay a solid foundation. Plus, we're going to be eating some really good food. It's all out in nature. So, knock on wood, the weather is great. We will be outdoors as much as possible, maybe taking some nature walks and hiking and just spending a whole lot of time together. And we will have the property to ourselves. From there, we go hybrid. So we have weekend labs, and the weekend labs are Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And these are the dates. They're 3 hours, and it's where we will go deeper and deeper into the material. A lot of times, what I find in programs is you come together and you learn a whole bunch of information, and it feels a little bit like a fire hose of information coming at you. It's a lot all at once. So the idea behind the labs is to integrate, is to go back to and deepen your understanding, because the idea is that you walk away with these tools in a way that you can live the life that you want to live. It's all about living your yoga practice. And a lot of things too with the embodied motion. When I lead a class, I want to share everything I know about movement with you, but it's not always appropriate because it would take away from your experience. So, what if you knew what the teachers knew and you could apply it even if you're not directed to do it? So you can get more out of every movement that you take. And at the core of it, the physicality of embodied motion, the movement practice, is I want you to get the most out of every repetition so that you can feel confident spending a little less time moving and more time living. Movement is a lifestyle for me. I move every single day, but I used to spend hours and hours moving every single day, thinking that that's how what I needed to do to achieve my goals. And I was slave to movement. And so this is also very important to me because I have healed from it and I find a lot of peace with it. And I would just really love to share it with you. So the weekend labs are to integrate and to deepen our understanding of what we learn at Gather Green. Because we have the two tracks, we have the embodied motion movement track and the yoga philosophy track as we're working with our innovation project. The virtual weekday mentorships, Wednesdays from 6 to 7, are only virtual. There'll be an hour and it's kind of like open. I'll always come with a theme. I'll have lots to share, but this is your opportunity to be in the work of your innovation project and come with discernments, come with breakthroughs, come with shares, come with questions. And this is where we come together as a group to really help each other through understanding the material so that you can make it workable in your life, because that's all that matters. This entire program is unbeknownst to anybody that's not going through it. It's very real for you, but it doesn't need to be real for anybody else. So what matters is how you feel about it, think about it, and are able to work with it. I want to just jump back real quick to the weekend labs. I forgot to mention they are in person at Sweat Power Yoga, but they can also be hybrid. We're blessed with the technology, so you could participate from home or in studio. Um, I will always promote being in person as much as possible, but sometimes virtual is makes it a lot more accessible and provides a lot of peace. And I love to create a sanctuary at home. I think that's really important too. So the last thing that I want to share is you can click here for the tell me more, but I'm just going to go back up to the top where it says learn more here. This opens up to a document or a brochure that I created that just goes over the logistics. And things are clickable. So you could click on Gather Green and go to the exact site. This is where we will be staying. There are uh, huts on property. Hut is not the right word. Cabins, I will say, on property. There's 17 of them. And then we also have a boutique hotel just 15 minutes away, all to ourselves as well. So these, the two, Gather Green underlined, the Stewart House underlined, will link you directly to the places that we are going to be staying. This gives you a little bit of information. Please use this as a TBD. I would love to see the program will begin at 3 p.m., but hopefully we can arrive a couple hours early so you can like get into your cabin for noontime, explore the property, relax, meet and greet, and then we'll dive into it. And then it ends on Thursday at noontime. And I'm going to keep scrolling down here because what I hope to share with you. So this is what's included. The only thing that's not included is if you need airfare or transportation to and from the site. You'll be driving your own vehicles. This is the location and where to go. Here it is. So on property, there are 17 rooms. This is what the cabins look like. There are blinds that pull down that are blackout shades, so don't worry. But there are 17 of these on the property, and they overlook the woods. So it's very, very private. And again, we will have this property all to ourselves. It will be exclusive. And so there's a bathroom inside, as you can see here. This woman, I put this here, I just thought it was so cool. She's sitting at a desk typing on her computer. And this is where you could go if you want some privacy, if you get like inspired with ideas to work on that innovation project. And then the rooms in the hotel look like this. How cute is this? There are only 9 rooms in this boutique hotel. And again, it's 15 minutes away. I think it's like in the downtown area of the local town and whatnot. But so those are the rooms. Oh, and then 2 of them have share 2 beds in there. So they don't have the greatest videos, but or photos, let me say. But in the rooms, only 2 of the 9 rooms have 2 beds. So you could bunk with somebody if you wanted to. So I wanted to share that with you just so you know that all of the information is at your fingertips. So I'm going to make you dizzy and scroll down just one last time. A little bit about the pricing. And then I overshare. Can you see this? Books. So we do have some books that will help guide us on our journey. And I have 2 of them here with me today. First one is The Fifth Agreement. Don't worry if you haven't read the 4 agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz and his son, Don Jose, when they wrote the book, The Fifth Agreement, they cover the 4 agreements in a very comprehensive way. Really, really love this book and highly recommend it. So you will be asked to read this book before we begin so that we get into the same headspace so that this book can be referenced as a way to spark the creative work that we're going to be doing together. And then the other 2 readings that we'll read throughout the course are the Kleshas by Deborah Adele and then Turning Pro. Now, the kleshas are part of yoga history, yoga philosophy. Turning pro is positive psychology. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And just to share with you, Turning Pro is not a very thick book at all. It's by Stephen Pressfield. But what's really fascinating is what Deborah Adele speaks to about the kleshas and what Stephen Pressfield talks about in modern day Turning Pro. They're the same thing but different languages, and it really helps to pause and see like, oh, this is how I can actually live my yoga practice. This is how I can actually be in creation of the joy, happiness, fulfillment, ease, peace in my own life, even when it feels like I am standing in the eye of the storm and life is like swirling around like a tornado around me. It can all happen. And it's okay to be swept up into it, but you can step back into the eye of the storm whenever you want to. So the program is about giving you the tools. What I love about this book, Turning Pro, is he uses, we're always limited by our language, but he defines the way that we can live life in one of two ways. One as the professional and one as the amateur. And the amateur is the one that, remember when I asked you to think about that thing that you shared, you're so passionate about, and you were met with a reaction that made you feel icky? If you listen to that reaction and start living your life based on what you perceive somebody else to think, that's living the life of an amateur, letting the distractions win, letting the self-doubts win. But the lifestyle of a pro is being really focused on what it is that matters most to you and beginning to unify your life. And so what I do is I just keep pulling in all of these threads from yoga philosophies, even some from the Bhagavad Gita, even some from Anna Dea Judith's chakra work. This book here, this is a big one. This is not part of the curriculum, but I highly recommend it. It's called Eastern Body, Western Mind, and it really goes into the energy systems and how we're affected by our external world, and how we can find inner peace amongst all the chaos. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so much for being so kind and listening. I would love to open up and see if there's any questions that you might have, and answer them. But what I am going to do is I'm going to stop the recording.